Hot start, Phil. Hot start, Phil. Hot start. Welcome to Pick6 Central, myself and Big Ev on a Friday. Off the heels of Game 1, a blowout from the Boston Celtics. I think you made a nice little switch where you're like, I'm talking myself into the Mavs. I'm talking myself into the Mavs. I want to see the Mavs win this. I want to see the Mavs win this. And you're like, I can't get there. Now, it's a long series. There's a lot of basketball to be played. But this was a one-sided game from the get-go.
Yeah, I've had it a few times in my life, a few times a year, where I have like a gambling epiphany, and that was exactly what I had. I was kind of almost having
light switch. What does Dave call it? Light switch.
Yeah, I had it like the end of the show, and then kind of in the afternoon, I was like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, Celtics are gonna win this series easily, and I did some deeper research on like the impact of Porzingis, and the biggest thing that I found was just his ability to defend the rim and like alter shots was something that they basically didn't have the entire playoffs once he was out. And the Mavs had been like so good around the rim, granted, they like say in the last series, for example, they were playing Gobert, who people argue is like the best at that. But I think it was the Porzingis, without Porzingis, they had given up like 3 of their 8 like highest field goal percentages around the rim of the entire season. 3 out of the 8 were in the last 10 games without Porzingis. So his impact was huge. Also looking back, and we talked about a little bit yesterday with the impact he had in the first 2 times they played, even though it was regular season. We say that kind of like styles make matchups. They just don't have anyone to check him. They don't have someone as big as him. They can come out and defend him on the perimeter. He can make threes.
Because he can shoot from the perimeter.
He can make mid-range jump shots. And he's a guy that can just shoot right over top of you because he's so big and tall and has like a relatively high release anyway. So I looked into all that and I was just like, I mean, Celtics going to win this game. I did good. I was on, like I told you, I was on Porzingis like over his points, his over first quarter points, which I was scared as hell.
He hit the threes. I had the 3 prop. I
was petrified because all of a sudden then he's not starting. But he came in like 5. He played the last 7 minutes, and those last 7 minutes he played in the the first quarter, were some of the best 7 minutes of basketball maybe he's ever played in his life. I mean, he's blocking shots, rebounding, making jumpers. He was unbelievable. He was unbelievable last night. Jaylen Brown played really well last night. Drew Holiday, I thought, played really well. That was just one of those like team efforts, and it goes to show, and it's why I think I individually would take Luka over Tatum, but you see like a team like Boston, they don't need Tatum to go off to win.
No, I mean, he didn't play well at all.
And obviously they have a much better team. But, I mean, even Luka, like he goes crazy in the third quarter. They cut it to 8 at one point, and then Boston comes right back. I mean, they missed a lot of shots. I mean, Boston, they ended up winning it by like 18, 20, something like that.
89, 107.
Yeah, 18. So, I feel like they could have won that game by like 30 if they made some shots, like made some open shots they missed.
Well, they came out in that blitz right away.
Crazy. But granted, Kyrie missed like a million open threes, it felt like.
Yep.
So he definitely could have played better. But, I mean, I don't know what is in Boston. He can't do it. It's a shame we don't have our resident Boston guy here to talk about it.
Yeah. But, yeah, it was a blitz. I mean, I was very impressed with the Celtics. It felt like they were getting what they wanted. They were playing well defensively. Like, Porzingis was just a fucking beast.
Monster.
From the get-go. What are his – can he be the MVP of the series?
I think I saw his odds. He went from like 45 to 1 to win MVP to like 6 or 7 to 1 or 8 to 1, something like that. Dude. But honestly, I almost think this might be even a decent time to like get in on Tatum.
Yeah.
The lines didn't move a ton, but I think he was minus like 120 or something like that to win Finals MVP. And now he's like plus like 120 or something like that. And he had a good enough game. I mean, he still had like 16, like 11. He had a ton of boards.
If it's close, it's going to Tatum too. You got to.
But even it scares. I'm not going to bet it, but it's something if you're like looking to go that way and bet MVP. Because I just feel like Porzingis. I mean, listen, if he gets off the couch basically after being out for over a month, he hadn't played in 38 days. They said.
Yeah, he's
win MVP. God bless.
Everything he was heralded as when he came in as a Knick, and he's everything he was. You know what I mean? That's what he was. He was great.
The only thing that scares me, Jaylen Brown has really asserted himself in these playoffs. I mean, he makes the big 3 and then pickpockets Luka for a dunk. I mean, he's unbelievable. And he won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP when Tatum had like bigger numbers. He scored more and all that. So that could happen again. So that's the only thing that would give me reservations on betting Tatum's. But if you're looking to get value in terms of like one game, the line moves that much, I think there's worse bets you can make.
The Mavs are plus 310 to win the finals after last night. So I was telling Marty, I said you might be able to get the Mavs at 25-1 again in the series, probably.
Yeah, I think that was you having some fun with them, but
I mean, it's not crazy to say. Like if Celtics go up 3-0,
they just
where
have
odds
to
going
steal.
to be?
They just have to steal game 2. They have to take a game in Boston. Now I don't know if that's going to happen.
It's probably not. Well, that's just my take. I said Celtics in 5. I think they're a historically good team, and they showed you last night. Like there wasn't a moment in that game where I was like, "Oh, the Mavs have a chance." Even when the Celtics, even when it got down to 8,
there definitely was a moment where, because even I bet Celtics 6.5, but I definitely I wasn't by any means saying like panic button, but I definitely was like, "Oh, like are they about to do this, or are they about to do this?" Because I mean, they've come back I think it was from 17 down in the second half, like at least like twice, or I know they did once. They've come back from down double digits in the second half multiple times this year. I mean, or this playoffs.
Joey Langone, our guy, texted me. It's like, "Oh, nice reverse jinx. It was gonna be a blowout." When it got down to 8, and I was like, "They'll probably win by 15 or so." And what was the final score? They won
18.
Yeah, I have the receipts.
Yeah, I mean they're just a better team. That's evident. And
they're just too deep. They're just too deep for them. They just have too much. I mean, even when guys like Sam Hauser, even like Pritchard played like shit last night, and he's been great as the backup point guard. I mean, and I think the big thing too is that like not only just getting Porzingis back, but having Horford as like your 2 center instead of Cornette is such a massive upgrade too. Like he just kind of raises everybody up. Him coming.
Horford played great in the first quarter.
Porzingis puts together the whole defense. Like he's like that missing piece of the defense that they haven't had.
He's just a unit.
And now they have these great perimeter defenders. Now they have like the rim protector with it. They're just hard to score on like that.
Yeah.
The big stat from game 1, the Mavs only had 9 assists total. Luka had 1 assist.
Oof.
So you're not gonna win an NBA Finals game when you're just not like not playing team basketball.
Right.
Like Luka has 30 and 10, but
that's the frustrating thing with Luka. It does seem like there's times where he just comes down and he's just gonna take the shot. Nobody else dribbles the ball.
PJ Washington.
Nobody else touches the ball.
If PJ Washington,
he settles into or he passes once, catches it right back, and then he's gonna dribble and take his shots.
If PJ Washington's not shooting a corner 3, he's just not making a 3. Like that's his bread and butter.
Yeah, they did a good job keeping him out of the corner, and the biggest problem for them was that Kyrie gave them nothing.
Right.
Which that was huge because
You think Kyrie was a little rattled?
Maybe.
I think it's hard to say.
Probably a little bit.
Human emotion.
I don't know how much like them chanting is actually affecting his play. I mean, like we've seen him have games like this in the playoffs where he's been kind of like, especially in the first half, he's had where he's had some where he scored like 4 or 6 points and then go off in the second half. Obviously, he didn't do either of that last night, but I don't know. Like I think we'll get I don't think he's gonna play that bad the whole series. I think the Mavs will take 1 at least. Like I don't think they played bad last night, but I think the Celtics also were capable of playing better. So that's probably the scary part for them. But yeah, I mean it's tough. It's tough to see that game and not envision Celtics in like 5.
I don't know how much better the Celtics could play. Last night felt like a perfect game for them.
I thought they missed shots. Like they definitely could have. They could have made more shots. They missed some open ones, but I mean the Mavs definitely played worse even on like their standards. Like the Mavs played like shit. So I do think they'll. I don't think it's gonna just be a blowout like every game. Like I think they show some resilience. I think they played much better in game 2. I think game 2 ends up being a close game.
I mean, I want a close game. I don't want these finals just be boring.
You and me both, Phil.
Yeah. No, I think we were hoping for a better series, but and it's still a lot to play. But so is there any major? Obviously, the Mavs odds go up. Is there anything that you've changed your way, or do you see that hey, maybe this was an anomaly and we do get closer games, or you've kind of come to grips that this is a 4 or 5 game series?
I think it'll be at least 5. I don't think they get a sweep out of them. And I've said the Mavs have been unbelievable coming off losses. Like they've responded incredibly well. They were great. They've been great on the road. Obviously they weren't last night, but like over a pretty strong sample size this season, they've been really good on the road. So I do think they play a lot better. But yeah, I mean I'll say 5 or 6. That's what I said yesterday. But I know I've been talking about Mavs once I had my epiphany. I tweeted out that Celtics in 5 or 6. I'll stick to that. Like I still think the Mavs will rebound and win at least 1 game, but the Celtics, they're just way better. They're just way deeper. They have way more talent. Even if you say Luka's like the best player in the series, they have 2. They have like the next, besides Kyrie, they have 5 in the next 6 in the next 7. You know what I mean? Like they're just so stacked. I mean, I would take like they're insane. They just have so much talent. They just even like I said, they can have a guy like Jason Tatum not play well, barely score, and they still win in a rout.
Yeah.
Like, it's just tough to compete with that.
Yeah, it's tough because there's not much really, there's enough to talk about with the game, but it's the Celtics.
You got to shoot. Like, you got to make
it's
threes.
Just that they just came out. And
if you want to beat them, you have to you have to shoot the lights out. That's like when they've lost in this postseason. That's what's happened. Even the games where like Indies almost beat them and they should have beat them a few of those games, they shot the ball incredibly well. That's just what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to make threes.
I think the reality is if you had asked Celtics fans when the second round was going on, what's the team you'd feel most confident about facing in the finals? They'd probably tell you either Dallas or OKC, and like Dallas, they're just not a matchup for them.
Dallas, I mean, as opposed. No.
Like Minnesota, I think could have played better.
You mean the Nuggets? No. You're saying the easiest.
The easiest is what I'm saying.
Oh, I mean,
yeah. Okay,
guess,
you misunderstood. Yeah.
I mean, but I guess that's like there's only 4 teams to choose from, so I guess.
And it's probably the worst matchup of the 4. Like the Mavs can't match up whatsoever. Like the Mavs have players that might as well not even be out there. Like what does Derrick Jones Jr. even do out there?
He plays defense, but he's got to make shots on offense. Like a guy like that, he's got to make threes.
Yeah, like you're just irrelevant out there. Like you're a non-factor. I'm going to call you like an AI player in 2K, like a brown shirt, 60 overall. Like that's basically what Derrick Jones Jr. is out there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's strong. I get like the point you're making, but Meekness is a way of just being so disrespectful.
I mean, it's true. It's true though. Like
he's just a robot out there. A non-factor.
If the Mavs,
he wasn't great last night, but they were pretty much. I feel like everyone was shitty last night for them besides Luka.
If the Mavs want to win the series, they're gonna need 40 from Luka, 30 from Kyrie, and I don't know like what else they need. And even still, it may not be enough.
The role players. It's
they need role players to hit shots.
Yeah. He scored 30, but you in the group chat, Meek was chirping, but he failed to mention that Kyrie had 12.
But that's what I'm saying. If he had 40, it's a closer game. It's still not enough.
But I'm saying it. But our argument was like 30 and 30, which you get 30 and 30. That's literally the difference.
And I said in order to take down like Jason Tatum was a non-factor last night and they coasted to an 18-point win.
He wasn't a non-factor. He just didn't
play great.
I think it was.
You're very loosely using non-factor.
He didn't. I mean, he didn't score.
He didn't score 30 points.
No, but I don't think he scored their first a point until they were up like 17.
He didn't score much early, but he definitely was a factor.
I think
for sure.
Non-factor is probably a wrong way to say it, but like if you're asking like was Jason Tatum even like the 3rd best player in the court for the Celtics last night?
Yeah. Yes.
I would
say he was 3rd. Last night he was 3rd. Brown and Porzingis were the 2 best last night.
I would say
Tatum. Drew Holiday was good.
I mean, he still, Tatum hit some shots.
That's what I'm saying. Like it wasn't like he had 3 points. He had 16, which is obviously well below his average, but he had 11 rebounds. He plays good defense.
But basically, like my other point is like if Luka puts up 16, they're losing by 50.
Well, that's what I said off the rip. Like that's why I just think Luka is still probably a better player because he's so much more valuable to his team. But that doesn't matter. We're talking teams. So, I mean, the Celtics are just.
Like I said the Celtics are going to win the series in 5 games. Luka's going to have his 30 and whatever. Tatum will have his 20 and whatever. And people will say in the summer, oh, Tatum's like the 3rd best player, the 4th best player in the world. They'll put Tatum over Luka after his finals.
We'll see.
I thought going into this finals, Jason Tatum was severely underrated, and afterwards, we're going to call him severely overrated.
No, I think I think he's gonna get the shine that he's definitely deserved for a while. But I still think when you like to me, like one series is not gonna totally just change my opinion on. I just totally changed my opinion on just where he's at. Like I still would think he's like what did I say, I think 5 yesterday when we talked about it. I still would put him in that same spot. But I do think he's gonna finally get the respect he probably has deserved for a long time. But Luka losing this series is not gonna make to me it's more the fact that he basically drugged this team to the finals.
Right.
With just look at if we're purely talking like Luka and Tatum, have them switch teams and see what happens.
Yeah.
Like it would be a route the same way.
No, I think Luka's great. It's just a matter of the Celtics are just deeper. Is really what it comes down.
Way better defensively, way deeper. Porzingis is such an X factor in this.
What changes would you make if you were the Mavs to game 2? Like, is there anything you can do to hinder Porzingis. I don't, at some point it's just Jimmy's and Joe's. Maybe add a guy. Can you add a guy? On
I don't think
waivers?
they. I don't think there's anything they can do in terms of like changing the rotation or like matchups. They just have to make shots. I think there's some things they can do offensively to just try to get shots, try to get PJ Washington open in the corner, try to get Kyrie going maybe earlier, get him more involved early. But I don't know what else they can really do other than just the simple make shots, duh, dummy. But
right.
They have to, like I said, they have to make threes. When you're the inferior team, you have to shoot the ball super well if you want a chance. And if you shoot the ball like shit like they did last night, you're going to get ran out of the gym every time.
Right.
Every time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an impressive effort from the Celtics. There's not much really nitty-gritty. There's no play to break down. There's no real, sequence that changes things. The block by Porzingis was unbelievable.
Insane. I mean, him just coming out and doing that in the like I said, that 7-minute stretch in the first quarter that he played was maybe the best I've ever seen him look, ever.
Yeah.
Ever. I mean, he was incredible. His value to the team in that 7 minutes was just so glaring, especially in this matchup, but just in general. Because obviously people are pointing to it. I point out they were 21-4 in the regular season without him. They obviously they swept the Pacers without him. Went through the Cavs fine without him. But you just see they can. I mean, with him, they're clearly the best team in the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else in terms of Celtics to unpack that? I mean, there's.
To me, it's just who's.
What's the line for game 2? I actually haven't.
7.5. So it went up a point, which is probably fair.
Okay.
Yeah, that game's not till Sunday, Rose. I thought it was Saturday. It's Sunday.
It's Sunday, man. They
also
hate
annoying they do
Saturdays.
Sunday at 8 still. I know it's old man shit, but it just on a Sunday there's nothing else on. You know what I mean?
It's weird that Sunday.
cricket,
It's
shut up,
weird that
cricket's on
Sunday
Sunday.
night has become the. I know it's been for a long time now, but Sunday night is now the premier night of television.
I guess the same way it's Sunday Night Football, but in my mind it's Sunday Night Football. You've been watching.
Well, I mean, back to the
day.
days of even Desperate Housewives and Game of Thrones and
Yeah, fair.
Sopranos.
Well, I would say Sopranos was Sunday night,
Sunday
right?
nights, yeah. Curb, everything is now Sunday nights.
It's fair.
Also with Porzingis, can we just talk about how badly Washington ended up in this trade? They basically flipped for Porzingis, and all they got back was a 2023 second-round pick and Tyus Jones. And Tyus Jones is a good player, but after watching what Porzingis has done this year,
Is that really all they got? They didn't get a first rounder?
No, the Celtics got 2 first-round picks with Porzingis.
Jesus.
His stock was his contract, and then his stock just being
Yeah.
you kind of got him at his lowest point.
He wasn't even that bad in Washington,
But it's still you're just stuck in Washington on a nobody team.
I forgot.
I
he
mean,
even
Meek,
played at
so name a point in his career that his stock was lower.
with the Mavericks.
No, for sure not. For sure not.
I mean, the Mavericks couldn't wait to get rid of him.
but still, I don't think his stock was lower than it was at this point. It was one of those. It only seemed a no-brainer because he was going to the best team in the East. So it was oh, he's just joining this team with all these great players.
I get what you're saying, but maybe people weren't watching Washington. It's easier to hide being good on a team like that. Daniel Gafford was on Washington. No one thought he was good until he got to the Mavs. That's. If you're not on a premier franchise that people are watching night in, night out, or on TNT, people aren't going to see how good you are. So you could have talented guys hiding on the Charlottes, the Washingtons, the Portlands of the world.
But I mean, Gafford's more of a true role player. Porzingis is a role player because this team is so deep, but he's even calling him a role player just feels weird to me. He's a role player plus. I mean, that does what he does defensively, and it still averages probably what he averaged 16 and 8 this year, 7, something like that. I mean, that's I mean, my more major point was that his stock is definitely much higher now than it was before that, obviously. But I don't think they bought him at his lowest point probably in his career.
And then for Drew Holiday, it was just Malcolm Brogdon and 2 second-round picks. Brad Stevens really did a great job. Trading Marcus Smart was a controversial decision at the time, and he hit a home run on 2 big trades.
He crushed it.
Yeah, he's an unbelievable. I mean, listen, I joke around with him. I still think he should be on the sidelines just because I love him. But he's an unbelievable executive.
He's just a great basketball mind. I hate giving the Celtics props, but that's what they are. They're one of the best franchises over the last 8 years or so.
Yeah,
and they could get a ring this year in the next week or so to just put a staple on.
And it was in his blood to be at Butler. He's not getting 5 stars. He's got to go find the overlooked guys that can be great. Matt Howard, Gordon Hayward. He's got to go find those guys. Shelvin Mack. He's got to go find those guys. And that's what you could do as a GM. Like, Porzingis is washed. Nope, not according to Brad Stevens. You know what I'm saying? This guy, how could you trade this guy? He's playing so well. No, I see the decline. You know what I mean? Like, there's different things that a GM.
I wonder we're going like deep cut now. I wonder if Stevens is the one actually like on the phone, like negotiating the trade itself.
Yeah, I think so.
You think? Like, I'm saying, you think he's the one that's like, we'll give you like Tyus Jones and.
Well, no, I don't know. I mean, it's still
pick.
a G. Yeah, He's still. Yeah, I think he would still execute the trades.
I'm curious. I don't know.
By the way, my apologies on the Drew Holiday trade. He traded the 14th pick in the draft, which is like a nothing thing, not like just 2 seconds. But even so,
14 still like.
It's what, the last pick of the lottery?
Yeah, it's still like a mid-first round. It's not like it's a throwaway.
yeah.
No, not a throwaway.
And then Robert Williams, who, if you
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
watched basketball, he was kind of unplayable towards the end.
Right.
Like,
He's good, but he just doesn't. I think he's a decent center. He has potential. He just doesn't fit like. What
Yeah,
they-
I'm not saying to.
But when you have Horford and then obviously you get Porzingis, like you don't. They just have no.
I'm not saying to collude, but if any other team, like there should be teams who like, I don't know if the Portland GM and the Charlotte GM, or the Kings GM and the Wizards GM are friends and go play golf. While they're on the golf course, like no cameras, no mics and stuff like that, they should be like, yo, we can't trade with Stevens. I'm not saying to collude.
You're giving him like.
But you
can't talk. This.
No, I
Hold
think
on,
there's certain
hold
people
on.
like in certain industries, the
Fair.
Spurs, the Braves, like certain teams just always get it right. The Steelers, certain teams always get it right. If I was a GM, I think making a trade with that guy, you have the opportunity to look like an idiot. No matter what you think is good coming back on your end.
So then
you don't agree with that? You have an opportunity to look like an idiot?
No. That's my point is going to be, if you are making that like firm of a take, that like basically like don't trade with this guy. He's that much smarter than everyone else. I would need to hear you say he's a better executive than a coach. I need to hear you say that. I need to hear from Rico Bosco that Brad Stevens.
If he wins a
is a
title,
better
I will say it. If he wins a
Okay,
title,
all right,
I will
fair
say
enough.
it.
you could have won title as a coach maybe if like LeBron wasn't in his way or whoever else was after. Like,
Yeah.
when did he officially step down? Was it?
It's been a while
Was he,
now.
what, 5 years? 4?
He never made a finals, but he got like
He made the
obviously
conference
close.
finals, I think, twice.
Yeah.
At least twice. He did that Isaiah team. They made Isaiah Thomas.
With Isaiah Thomas, which is like crazy.
You know, it was incredible. He definitely is a great coach.
He's an over.
But I mean, what he's done as executive, like the way they've, like we just talked about, the way they've cultivated this team, like the amount of talent. I mean, even Derek White, like drafting Peyton Pritchard, like just the talent they've accrued on this team is unbelievable.
And who knows? Maybe 10 years from now, we talk about Danny Hurley the same way.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I love now it's. I'm about Meek made a roasted Goodman. Now he just was like, oh, it's 50 here and it's 50-50.
Yeah, that's.
Hold on,
transition.
Jeff Goodman. You're saying that Dan Hurley might go to the Lakers or he might stay at UConn? Great reporting, brother. Awesome.
This might be shocking, but
this is news I did not know 10 minutes ago.
So he's meeting
He's such a
now with LA. It's real. The wife's out
Yeah.
there. He's out there.
Oh,
It's no. We always know.
He's hearing them
we
out.
always
No,
knew
he's
it's
hearing them
real,
out
but
for
no,
real.
it's at its final legs. Here, you're gonna get a decision like within a week. The Lakers want something done ASAP.
Also, I didn't even realize. Even the extension. I believe he got one this offseason, right? Like after winning,
yeah,
or
I
was
think
it last
so.
one?
I don't know. I thought he
Because
if you win.
he got one post winning a national title. I can't remember if it was.
If you win another
winning one or
title,
after winning
if
the
you
second
win
one.
another title, you should renegotiate.
But I'm-
Win back to back.
what I saw, the extension he signed, whether it was this offseason or last
some
one,
of the people
I
in
can't
his
remember.
corner, I think they renegotiated.
It only made him the third highest paid coach in college basketball. At minimum, this Lakers thing should be like, buddy, I'm staying at UConn. That number you had, double it. This is
Yeah.
crazy. And I understand, listen, they just can't pay him as much as the Lakers could pay him. The difference in contracts between like college and NBA is massive in basketball. But still, when you have the Lakers knocking on your door saying, we'll give you like 15, 20 million a year,
Third? Who's
whatever insane
ahead of
number
him?
it is.
Can you pull that list? Who's ahead of him?
It's got to be,
I think Oates might be ahead of him.
I was going to say Oates
he
could be after the
renegotiated, too.
extension, after his like re-up, and then what do you think? Maybe like
Self, just because he's been there forever.
So I was going to say either Self or you can't even. I wouldn't think Scott Drew even after winning a championship.
Calipari.
Cal like sort of didn't he take not like a pay cut, but kind of like a might have taken a little bit less to leave.
Well, he's got like a
It might be-
lifetime
it might- it
deal,
could-
so
it
his
could be-
thing's weird.
Calipari himself would make sense
He had that lifetime deal at Kentucky, which turned out to not be a lifetime deal.
when the writing's on the wall.
I don't know, man.
So what do you? So
Who's higher than him, Phil? Can you double check that?
Calipari himself would make the most sense. But also, we'll talk about this too, because they're saying if he leaves, you said to me this morning, all the reports are that UConn will potentially be looking at Bruce Pearl.
Bruce Pearl is up there. Yeah.
You didn't love that.
No, I just was.
Or you just thought it was a weird.
I just thought it was bizarre. Like, no, not credit. I like Bruce Pearl. Not knocking that. I just thought that was a weird name to kind of come out of nowhere. Like not out of nowhere. But and I'm not good. I think I'm good. Like, you try to be good at the who's next, or like you try to be like savvy of that guy's got Carolina ties when Carolina has a spot, and this guy has Arkansas ties, and the same thing. Who would replace at Kentucky? We thought it was going to be Scott Drew. Because he's best friends with the AD. So, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not good at those predictions. I'm good at, like, reading what everybody says and, like, putting my own spin on things. I think this guy would be a good hire. This guy, whatever. But, yeah, I didn't expect Bruce Pearl to be on that list. That's the way I was going at it.
So what you read there, it would be kind of surprising to me.
I think it's a 3-horse race. It's
he was at the
Kamani,
top of the list.
Kamani Young. It's in a graphic. He's definitely on lists, or he's being.
No, that's fair. It would just be surprising.
Kamani Young would be Luke Murray, and it'd be him. It'd be Bruce Pearl.
You think there's any chance of well, obviously hypothetically if Hurley leaves, because from at least talking like UConn people and like just reading kind of it seems to me like it would in-house would be the thing, especially this late in the game. And you did such a good job recruiting with transfer portal, and you get McNeely after he leaves, like a top 10 guy in the class. Freshman after he was going to go to Indiana. He comes to UConn now. Mass was a Montverde guy, played with Flag and all those guys. Yep. Unbelievable talent. I just wonder if they would go that route, not even just for like the continuity, but just trying to almost like keep that same culture that you've been building there that's won you 2 national titles. Or do they go for a big splash hire to replace him? Like, do they go, like you said, Bruce Pearl? Do they go like, I don't know how much of a splash hire he is, but like a Scott Drew.
I don't think Scott Drew's leaving for that.
But UConn though, I guess granted he didn't leave for Kentucky, so I get it. But UConn's a little different than Kentucky.
The weird thing is, I think UConn doesn't need the splash hire because they already won a title with Kevin Ollie. Like, they've been through this. This is now the 3rd coach at UConn.
Well, I do think it's more
like
likely.
They haven't lost a fucking step.
I do think it's more likely they stay in house, like you said, Murray or Young. But I'm saying, like, if they chose to go the outside route, like outside of Pearl, like who else do you think would be like real options?
I don't know. I really don't. I really don't know. I mean, I saw it. I could have been people fucking around. I saw Cooley on a list. Cooley's got Connecticut ties. That would be wild to like go that deep in conference. I don't know. Like, I really don't know what they would do. That's why the Bruce Pearl name kind of shocked me.
Nate Oates.
Do you think?
He's not leaving once they renegotiated that practice facility, and plus he's got a daughter in the school. It'd shock me if he left.
Danny Sprinkle.
Sprinkle would be great. Sprinkle would be great. He's a West Coast guy. Yeah, he'd be great.
Utah State.
Jared
Brian Hodgson, I'd put on that list.
Jared Grasso, is he a name on the list?
Grasso's got to take.
He's in the area.
He's in the area. Grasso, maybe 1-2 years away.
He's got to get back first.
He'll be okay. But
he's got to get that high school girls national or state title first.
Yeah, he'll be okay.
What about
The only thing, though, like if you're a UConn guy and you see what's going on with Nova, and we thought Nova couldn't lose a step, and I like Neptune. Literally, like, hung out with Neptune for a week way back in the day. Is there a little bit of, like, the next guy up, just that little struggle? Like, now he's in the hot seat. Like, do you or in the big seat. Like, do you see Neptune? Neptune has struggled a little bit at Nova. So if you're UConn, and that's not taking anything away from Kamani Young, and they're different people, and Luke Murray, whoever it's going to be. But once that guy bumps up, it's like, oh, he's not Danny. You know what I mean? He's not Hurley. And, like, this is the maximum we can get. He's a nice coach, but we're used to winning championships, and it's a little bit of a drop down. And that's not saying that Neptune can't win, but right now, like, Neptune is leaving a little to be desired.
Neptune came from outside, though.
No, Neptune wasn't
he coach at
he went he was the associate for a while at Nova during the titles, then took a head job. And then came back.
Gotcha. That's what I was saying.
So that's where you're right. You're right for me to allude that. But Neptune was on those sidelines for a title, and I think he was only a head coach for a year. I could be wrong.
Also, just some respect for Kyle Neptune. He was the coach of the 1-seed Villanova Wildcats in the NIT tournament this year.
Agreed.
People forget that.
But you get what I'm saying? You know when that guy
I got
steps
you.
up. So like and UConn's so used to this. They're on the top of the world, and like
I'm dealing with it.
I mean, they won a championship in the AAC for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, but do you think they? Do you think there's any? I'm going off because I was going to ask, and then you brought up Neptune. You think there's a chance they poach anyone else from the Big East?
Oh,
like how about for example, maybe I don't know if they do this because like they're. I don't think they care about rivals, but I wonder if they want to do it from their schools. Like, what about like a McDermott? What if something crazy like what if like Shaka Smart? I don't know. I'm spitballing.
Shaka would be.
I'm spitballing, but I'm just saying.
Shaka would be a hell of a come up at UConn. I still worry about Shaka in the tournament though.
Fair enough. We're out here just throwing hypotheticals on a Friday.
They love McDermott at Creighton, and he seems to now like finally be breaking through. But
that's why I wonder with McDermott. I feel like
listen.
You built up so much goodwill.
Such a New York guy. Like they throw the bag at Patino. That would be fucking hilarious.
Imagine.
It'd be fucking hilarious.
Oh my god.
That would be
I don't think
hilarious.
they could do it. I don't think they could do it.
No.
I don't think they.
Yeah,
I think they. He's one like Patino is where I draw the line. Where I think they definitely like. I know we've been talking hypotheticals. That's if they get to that point. I think they're like, let's just go with. Let's give Luke Murray or Kamani Young a shot and see what happens. Let's keep the culture and see if they can build off what
they could. You could think outside the box and take maybe one of Missoula's assistants, but I don't know if those guys want to go down. Like you look at the way the Celtics
different game,
the way the Celtics organization is run. That's all I'm saying. You can maybe like try to get the next top assistant in the game. I really don't know, like because it's UConn, man. It's like I did not expect this to potentially be open.
Well, that's
I'm not saying it is open yet, but
that's why I'm hypothetical like all these other like guys that have big jobs already. Because I mean, UConn's different because it's different than Kentucky. Because UConn is, in my opinion, I think it should be no debate at this point, is working themselves into like firmly blue blood in college basketball. But at the same time, they don't have that quite that same like pressure that Kentucky does. Where like Kentucky, you don't like you have a couple. Listen, and Cal had really like stunk it up in the tournament the last few years. So when you lose to Oakland, you lose to St. Peter's, you just don't make runs like that. If you do that for a few years, that's even gonna happen at UConn. But at Kentucky, there's just a little more of that like that bright light and a little more of that like 1-2 bad years. Like what the fuck's up?
Right.
Whereas UConn, I think there's a little. Weirdly enough, they've won more recently, and there's still more patience. I feel like from just the fan base in general, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Kentucky, it's so like.
I also think there's a
right
little.
Now, or what the fuck
I also think there's a little piece of UConn people who like, deep down, when places they don't want to talk about, they're like, "Yo, how the hell did we win? How did we make this a fucking hotbed of basketball?"
Well, no, well, that's what I was gonna say. Jack Mag, I forget who wrote a blog. Someone wrote an article. I think he posted and talked about it. It really is crazy when you like dig deep into it. How some tiny little like, what basically like a farm college in the middle of nowhere in Connecticut became like just this powerhouse of college basketball. Like when you think all the other colleges, and I guess you could kind of say the same thing about Duke, but really it's obviously Coach K just built it up. But when it competing with like the Kansas of the world, Kentucky, North Carolina, these like massive like state universities who have been around forever and have been like blue bloods for years, UCLA, Indiana, all these massive schools, and somehow this UConn has just like taken over the college basketball world and has done it with 3 different coaches, has done it not just like you said, with not just like a Coach K where he had one dominant coach for 40 years. Obviously, Calhoun like pioneered it and won a bunch. But like you said, Ollie won one. And they see now Hurley's won 2. Like they've done it over like numerous generations, numerous coaches. It really is like unbelievable how they've done it and sustained it. I don't know how the fuck they've done it, but God bless them.
Yeah,
it really is. It doesn't get enough credit how like crazy it really is.
It's a wild scene.
Last 30 years, 25 years.
Yeah, there's more coming out of the Hurley situation. We'll see what's going on. But yeah, Bruce Pearl's got a nice little thing down in Auburn. And I know you said, obviously, he's second fiddle. It's very similar to what Oates is. Yeah, they could win championships.
You can like win titles. You'll just always be like, what about football?
But Auburn's like top 10. coming into this year. So that's a hell of a lead.
Listen, they will love their we see the SEC. I've said SEC home games like Bama, them, like Arkansas, some of the best home courts in college basketball.
Right.
Like they're rowdy crowds. It's not that I think they don't care at all. It's just that football will always come first. They will always care more about football no matter what happens.
Yeah, I just thought Pearl was very interesting. Was an interesting name, and I don't know if
it would be wild. Him
late.
at UConn would be something I just never imagined.
Sean Travie was talking about the different way that this ripples. So let's say Hurley leaves, right? They hire whoever the hell they're going to hire. UConn, those kids get 30 days to decide what they're going to do.
Yep.
If they're leaving, if they're transferring, whatever. Now, let's say they do hire Bruce Pearl. Now the Auburn kids get 30 days.
Yep.
And Auburn hires the kid from the guy from Kennesaw State, and those kids get 30 days. Like the whole thing just it's going to keep going, and which is crazy that the student athlete part of it is a whole other conversation.
That's why I think they ultimately will hire within.
Right.
I think you have more continuity. I think like a guy like Caravan,
I think McNeely would stay.
I think you're more likely to stay if you do that than you are doing this whole lot, like you said, like bring Bruce Pearl, then all these guys. Then he might bring in you might get some of your guys leave. He might bring in some of his Auburn guys, and it just becomes this crazy
the other part of this is
cycle.
Like if you told me in the next 5 years, what's Hurley's deal? Probably 5. In the next 5 years, if Luke Murray or Kamani Young won a title, I'd be like, this is just Teflon.
Yeah, I mean,
this is, and they could
for sure. I mean, they're going to have coming in probably the best roster again.
I still think Kansas it's close.
Kansas is
they're up there, but they're they're preseason number 3.
Kansas bringing in like AJ Storr, and then like they brought in Sanford, the Kansas State kid, Sanford kid.
Yeah, I mean, listen, take the homer out of it. Bama's loaded too. Bama's talking about the AAC Player of the Year coming off the bench. Youngblood might not start.
No, no.
Conference USA. What is South Florida now? AAC.
Yeah.
American.
Yeah.
He would come off the bench.
Is Javon Quinterly still a Bama?
No, he was at Memphis last year.
Okay.
I think he saw the writing on the wall that they had Sears and they had the guards. He got his bag, but he would have been an extra nice little piece for them last year.
I'm not a college basketball guy. That was a dumb question, but I was curious.
No, Quinterly was a guy who was there for a while. I thought he should have stayed and just wrote it out. As it turns out, they got to a Final Four, and Memphis was kind of a disaster.
Yeah.
Did Memphis make the tournament?
No.
Oh, right?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, another year of Penny, is what it is. But we'll watch this situation unfold with Hurley. Let's talk to you real quick about our friends at DraftKings and cricket. Cricket fans, I know we are all going to be glued to our TVs this weekend as India takes on its rival Pakistan in New York. With so much on the line for each team, this is one you do not want to miss. I've teamed up with DraftKings for this matchup right now, and all customers get a no-sweat bet. All new customers get a no-sweat bet up to $1,500 with a $5 deposit. Get a bonus bet back in the amount of your original bet if your first bet doesn't hit. Get in on the easy way to play. Download the DraftKings app now and sign up using code PICKCentral. The crown is yours. So we talked about, obviously, India, Pakistan. Pakistan takes the L from the United States?
America, baby.
Massive.
America.
Massive
Cricket.
They're putting this in terms of, Phil, some of the biggest upsets ever.
In sports history.
Someone compared it, this would be like the Red Sox losing to the Durham Bulls, like the Rays, minor league affiliate.
It was actually hilarious. I was going through the weeds a little bit in cricket Twitter, and it was they were like, Pakistan lost to a bunch of finance interns and numbers.
These guys have day jobs.
How does this happen though?
America, we just rose up.
Yeah.
Hey,
1 in a million, right?
It's the Little Giant speech. One time.
That
one time. They might have beat us 99 times out of 100, but that one time.
Do you think it was a look ahead?
That day we beat them.
Think it was a look ahead?
That's what they're saying. Big look ahead. They were looking past us, and USA came and smacked them in the mouth, and they couldn't respond.
Crazy.
You know, it was wild when I was getting legitimately you're getting legit sports notifications.
Right.
Obviously, I don't have cricket noties on. Just get notifications like USA stuns Pakistan. One of the greatest upsets in sports history. They're saying in the history of the sport, potentially in cricket.
It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, you saw the guys in Chicago trying to learn it. We obviously learned the hand signals, but it's a difficult. There's elements to baseball. Like Max was smacking the ball around.
Obviously there are just the bowling and the pitching and swinging the bat, but there's not really bases. You kind of run back and forth, and there's close to the same amount of players, but obviously you're just in very like different spots. You hit it backwards, forwards.
So if I'm understanding the format, World Cup format, it's a round robin, I would imagine.
I believe so.
As well, right?
Because this game has been scheduled, like the fact that USA beat them, India and Pakistan are still playing on Sunday. Like, it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, still well, it
Honestly,
changes everything.
Well, no,
you ask me.
No, I'm saying it, but I'm saying it doesn't change like the schedule is what I meant.
Right. Doesn't change the schedule, but it changes everything in terms of the impact now that Pakistan.
Well, now Pakistan's pissed. Now you got a pissed off Pakistan is coming to town.
Agreed. And they have to win to stay alive in pool play, I think, based on what we know about
I think
the
it kind
World
of makes
Cup.
the game more intriguing even.
Yeah. When is
These
it?
guys
What
just got
time is it
embarrassed.
on?
They
You have the
just got
TV. You have the TV deal, Phil? What time is it on?
I'll see. Look it up first. But while he's looking, I would say we were supposed to have my guy Aaron Malik on, our cricket capper. He had emergency. Hope everything's good with him. But he did submit, so he couldn't come on.
Okay.
He did give us some picks though. These are all available on DK. First glance on the early lines. Here are the picks. Team highest first 6 overs. India -150. He said they're more aggressive. They like to score up front. So attack India early on the first 6 overs. Then we got all 4 opening batsmen to score 10 plus -115. High scored big runs. Sharma total 6s over a half -135. He has most 6s in the T20 internationals, which is what they're playing in. The most 6s are just over just for one in this game. And then last one, another player prop. Virat Kohli over 24.5 runs, -115. So he historically plays great against Pakistan.
Okay.
Has Pakistan's number. So Virat Kohli, it's Kohli over 24.5 runs, it's -115. Like I said, has Pakistan's number. That's play. Shout out Aaron Malik. Hope you're good, brother. Appreciate you giving the picks.
Phil, anything else on cricket?
10:30 a.m. Sunday morning.
That's beautiful.
What channel? That is
Beautiful.
a good one.
I don't have the channel,
All right.
but you can go to the game. It's in Long Island.
Long Island, check it out.
Long
Check
Island.
out. You could be firing away on DraftKings responsibly. It's a big one. India, Pakistan, and now it's got all the marbles on this one.
I mean, the fact that it's at 10:30 in the morning,
Yeah.
that's perfect for the sports. This guy like me, I'm waking up. I need action.
Yeah.
Want action? There you go. Cricket, 10:30 a.m. Watch that game, but rolls right into baseball. We're right in the NBA Finals that night. Perfect.
It's going to be, I'll have 2 screens on. It'll be funny. I'll have baseball on in London with the Mets at 10 a.m. and cricket
that's
on
right.
and
That's
cricket
right.
on in America.
Yep.
Oh, let's talk about that a little bit, actually, Phil. I would say I saw they turned I believe it was like a Premier League, a soccer stadium,
West Ham.
or West Ham into baseball.
Yeah.
Do you know what the dimensions are? Because it looked tiny. I know previously they've been small as
I
well.
know-
They have these big totals because the ballparks
Yeah.
are small. The totals will be like in the teens.
They can't make it accurate.
In past London games, I feel like it's always been like crazy high scoring. Like when the Yankees and Red Sox went there like years ago, it was like a 5-hour game or something.
Yeah, it'd be like 15-12 and like crazy shit like that.
Hey.
Let me see if they have they might not have it out. I probably won't have it out yet for Sunday. But I was just curious, the total, because I was curious if they had the dimensions too, because I know those ballparks are, when they make us turn a stadium like that.
And when this happened in 2019, that was like the peak of like the juiced ball era.
Yeah,
So it was
yeah.
like juiced balls in like a little league park.
I imagine it'll still be, total's got to be it's got to be double digits plus, I would think. I was just curious what the dimensions are, because it just looks so tiny when I saw a picture of it this morning. And I was like, oh my God, that fence looks like, the corner fences look like it's like 270 feet.
So if the dimensions are small, like this is also a game where if Ranger Suarez gets hit around Saturday, that could like hurt him in the Cy Young race.
That was literally the post I saw. It was someone saying this ballpark's going to ruin Ranger Suarez's ERA. If you're like a stud pitcher there, you give up like 4.
Oh yeah, he's got the one.
He's got like a
game,
1
right?
something ERA. He's going to go up there and you can have a great start in this ballpark and give up fucking a few runs. In most places, like a long fly ball, there's a homer.
I don't see any Mets lines on DK yet, but there is a series winner. Obviously, the Mets are like plus 500 to like take both games, which we probably won't.
And they got, obviously, like I said, Suarez, they have their best pitcher on the mound, then one of them. Who is Wheeler? Who's pitching the other game? You know?
I think it's another lefty. Which, I know the Mets are starting Shamanaya on Saturday and Jose Quintana on Sunday. So the Mets are starting 2 lefties. Right. The Phillies on Sunday are Taiwan Walker. So,
little revenge spot for Taiwan Walker.
he's like awful. There's
I
actually
mean, the Mets are awful.
No, I get it. I'm saying there's a crazy Philly stat. I'm not sure how accurate it is. It was like a day or two ago. The Phillies had 4 of the top 6 pitchers in the league in ERA. Aaron Nola was 6th in the majors in ERA. He was 4th on his own team.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, the Phillies have been unbelievable this
Yeah, I was looking.
Yankees have been
I saw Phil's tweet yesterday that was like some of the wild. I guess we'll do a little bit of a dive into baseball to a degree. At least in the NL, he's like history shows that one of these teams is going to be playing in the World Series, in the wild card team.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, the teams that are under 500, like hovering around 500.
Yeah, like now I get that, and baseball, the playoffs are so wacky, but I got to think we bucked the trend here, and not that the Rangers won the division last year, correct?
They won 90 games. They're a wild card team.
They were a wild card team as well.
Yeah.
Remember I think the Astros like kind of stole it at the
they
end.
lost.
They
lost
did.
the division
You're
last
right.
day.
You're right.
And I mean the Diamondbacks, they were like a what was it, the Cubs? I mean, like the missed pop fly.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Diamondbacks
from basically like not even getting in the playoffs. And
I agreed.
find
So
themselves
all
in the
these
series.
teams like making these runs, like the Padres making a run to the NLCS, and a couple years ago, and all these different things going on with the wild cards, and like just shit teams making a run through.
all those since we went to the three game format in that wild card, it's been all sweeps.
I kind of think we buck the trend here and we get a powerhouse.
It's not like it's just like this format though. Like, okay, let's go through history. The NL, like teams that are in the World Series, NL champions. Last year, 84 win Diamondbacks. They were under 500 in August. The Phillies were under 500 in May in like 2022. They fired Joe Girardi. History, that's what it is. 2021, the Braves were not above 500 till like August 3rd.
Right.
So last 3 years, it's slow starts for these guys.
Teams that have gotten hot. Teams gotten hot at the right time.
Ignoring
Got hot in September.
Ignoring 2020, it was a 60-game season. 2019, the Nats were 19-31 in the first 50 games.
That's crazy. Really
and
is crazy.
the worst bullpen to ever win a World Series.
Yep.
Even 2018, I think the Dodgers were like 10 games under 500 in the middle of May.
Really?
It's like, yeah,
May is early, but still, granted,
But that 2018 Dodgers team, they needed a tiebreaker to win the division over the Rockies that year. They only won 90 games.
Over the Rockies?
This is how far back we're going. That the Rockies were relevant.
Yeah, but like you look at that, and I look at these teams. You could pull up the wild card standings, Phil, and look at some of these teams. I just think we're in tune for a powerhouse now. I know that's not groundbreaking.
No, it's not.
I just can't see it with some of these
honestly,
teams. The Mets are still 4 or 5 games out of the wild card. You're telling me like they're pretend, and some of these other teams, the Cardinals, the fucking Reds, like that's what you're telling me is going to play for the World Series. I just don't see it.
It's not those. It's history. I guess history is telling us that if one of those teams will get hot and be a legit contender, it's which team like gets hot, because obviously not all of them.
Yeah.
Because a few of those teams could just go south and really just be like,
How good is their hot? Is their hot good enough to beat the Phillies and Dodgers back to back?
we'll find out. We'll find out, I guess. But
In a 5-game series, you only need 2 hot starting pitchers at the right time. Like
that's what I was going to say. Pitching is so big. It's kind of like goaltending in hockey.
Then
where
what's the AL
if you have 2 legit ace starting pitchers that are just on fire,
Like the
you
D-
can fuck around and just win 4 games like that, even a 7-game series.
The D-backs, Gallen and Kelly last year.
Yeah, and then Fat pitched great in the playoffs.
Like, see,
as a
I
third guy.
think it's a much different conversation in the AL because you have the Orioles at 39 and 22, the Royals at 37 and 22, and then the Twins who were
Guardians.
like whatever.
Guardians are good.
No, those are the teams who were winning.
You're
division.
saying okay, got it.
So like I'm looking at just the wild card. The Orioles are 17 games above 500. The Royals, which is crazy. The Royals were just horrific. They're 11 games over 500. The Twins are like a staple in that type of thing. They're 4 games over 500. So the Orioles, if you put the Orioles in the NL, 39 and 22, right
Second
now
best record.
they have as good a record as the Dodgers. They'd be 4 games above the Braves for the wild card. Like that's what we're talking. It's a big divide. So in the AL, you could tell me one of those teams can make a run and they knock off the big power. But in the NL, I just don't know. I mean, there's so it's the Braves, the Cubs, the Padres. But the guys sticking around there's 4 teams a half game out of the spot. It's the Diamondbacks who have struggled big, the Reds, the Giants, and the Cardinals.
Dude,
Pirates are a game back, and the Mets are 3 games back. The Mets are 3 games out of the last spot.
Think of the Pirates
in a wild card.
Think of the Pirates in a playoff series. Jared Jones and Paul Skeens 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Like if you're the Dodgers, you want to face that.
Imagine the Pirates were the team,
Yeah.
and the Pirates have weirdly just owned the Dodgers. It feels like
But like, that's all. That's what I'm saying.
And
You
also,
need two
I don't hate the Pirates being a
They've
floater
had some
for the
success
world-
the last
to
few
win
years.
to win the NL. I don't hate that. I really
That'd
don't.
be crazy.
I don't hate the Pirates as a floater.
Honestly,
in the NL.
selfishly, just for obviously myself as a Yankees fan and just for the streams, a Yankees Phillies World Series might tear this company apart.
Yeah, Max would be getting it.
It would just
Smitty
be
would be getting it.
Chaos.
Roan.
Chaos.
A lot of Yankees idiots.
That's what I'm saying. We got a ton of us. It's probably the two fan bases we have the most of besides like Red Sox.
Yeah.
Like we
got a bunch of Mets fans now when you add them up.
No, Mets too for sure. Mets obviously is up there, but I mean that's like our core four.
You would have Connor. You have Connor on there, Connor Griffin.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
When you add it up,
Yeah,
there's a lot of
absolutely.
Philly people.
I was gonna say the problem with a Mets stream is you'd have Mets fans and you'd have Frank over there just making things look worse. Like,
Yeah, that was what was tough with the Mets streams with Frank, but
it's like you don't have another fan in there. You have
I
Frank.
mean, Yankees Phillies would just be an absolute. It'd be a war in the gambling cave. It'd be a war on the diamond.
yeah, crazy. Let's do one last thing before the picks. You obviously two things I should say. You got the Belmont this weekend. You got the Syndicate up there. I'll be up there tomorrow in Saratoga, and you got the Stanley Cup, Edmonton. Edmonton against Florida. What does this mean to, again, hockey guys, not hockey guys, but it is pretty cool to see the best player playing for a title now, his first one, in McDavid. You know what I mean? What does this mean to McDavid's like legacy? Are you rooting? You find yourself rooting for McDavid? Where are you at in terms of just kind of casual hockey watcher?
It'd be cool to see, like you painted the picture well. Like it'd be cool to see the guy who everyone says is the best player finally get over the hump, win one. Also, rooting for my boss Dave, get that winner home, get another $1 million in the bank. Yeah, everyone. I feel like a lot of hockey people seem that like Panthers are obviously their favorites, not big favorites, like minus 130, 135. A lot of the like smart people, I'm just like smart gamblers, like sharp gamblers, seem to like the Panthers, but I mean they've been wrong plenty of times. And like I said, it's not like it's some crazy line. Even like Celtics Mavs, where the Celtics are minus 210, 220. I mean it's a minus 130 plus 110 return. So I mean, everyone seems to. A lot of people tell me this is kind of the Panthers, like they were the best team last year. They laid an egg in the playoffs. This is kind of like their comeback tour, revenge tour, where they've been the best team last couple of years. Finally get it done. But no, seeing McDavid finally get a ring would be awesome.
I don't know how anyone isn't rooting for Edmonton. Like they have a great group of fans out there that are hungry to win a title. I mean,
they're willing to do anything.
Anything.
They're putting themselves out there to win a title.
Love the game.
Love the game.
They love the game out
game.
there in Edmonton.
They're not afraid to pull the goalie.
No, never.
You know,
they're down to pull anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Those fans out there deserve it.
Yeah. Although I've seen some Florida fans.
Yeah, the Florida fans, they
wild excitement.
They love their hockey down there too. Couple great sets of fans. Really, really, really nice sets of fans from Florida and from the Oilers.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable sets of fans.
God bless America.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want the good Lord makes no mistakes.
No.
Create man-made or not.
None. Let's go picks to close it out. What do you got?
So today, the one thing I just need to say, I wish the Yankees just got to play the Twins every day.
Oh my God.
The way they just embarrass the Twins day in, day out. It's just fun. It's legitimately just fun playing the Twins. I'm taking the Yankees plus 120 at home. Dodgers are coming to town. Should be an awesome series. But how good this Yankees team has been, I will gladly take plus money on the.
You worried about Soto?
Yeah, a little bit for sure. A little bit. I'm just. It seems like it's not super serious. He's getting an MRI. It's the forearm. He's been like the best hitter in baseball this year, or at least Ramirez has been great too, but Judge has been unbelievable. But definitely worried. But I'm hoping as long as it's not long term, if it's just like a week or something, that's fine. And give me the Yankees plus 120. Give me the Orioles money line minus 105, and I'll give a couple UFC picks for tomorrow. Cannonier in the main event as a dog. I love him. I just don't understand why he's a dog. I think he should be the favorite. Give me Cannonier. That one I like the most. And then give me Thiago Moises plus like 115 as well. I think it's either the featured prelim or open the main card. Yeah, those are the two I like the most. But Cannonier, favorite pick on the UFC card.
Yeah. I'm on the pot. He does it on fucking purpose.
I like it now. Now I like it.
I'm on the Padres.
notice.
Padres playing a struggling Diamondbacks team. I love the D-backs, but I'm on the Padres tonight, and we're on the hit parade as well.
Hit parade, of course.
Hit parade. So, Phil, you got a pick now that you're fucking around back there?
Rockies plus 160. Austin Gomber revenge game
Okay.
in St. Louis.
Love it.
All right. All right. That is Pick Central Yak coming up next. Check you on Monday.